Good morning. This is Knippa for NakedTrader.com on the floor of the Merc in Chicago. Well, Sunday is the long-awaited presidential election in France, and it does appear like the socialist Francois Hollande is the odds-on leader here and is probably going to win the presidential election. Now, I do disagree with a lot of the policies of Sarkozy as well. However, the election of Francois Hollande is a complete disaster for the French economy, and here's why. This socialist is running on the idea of limiting immigration, of increasing taxes, and he has all but declared war on the financial sector. He wants to blame the ECB, he wants to blame the financial sector for the problems, and he also wants to blame them for, number one, you've got an increase in debt to GDP in France, and you have declining output, and you have an economy that is not growing properly. Now, what he says is, oh, we need to spur economic growth, and it's a responsibility of all these other parties in order to do it. Oh, all right, Mr. Hollande, so you want to inspire economic growth. How do you do that? Let's go to basic economics here. How do you get a positive change in GDP growth? Number one, you have an increase in population. And number two, you have an increase in productivity. So here's a guy who wants to put sharp limitations on immigration into France. Okay, well, that takes care of the population part of that equation. That's not going to work. Number two, an increase in productivity. Do you increase productivity by raising taxes? No. Do you increase productivity by raising minimum wage? No. Do you increase productivity by increasing government spending? No. Strike 1, 2, and 3, and you're out. It is time to short the French bank stocks. It is time to start looking at credit default swaps against the French bond market. They're going to elect this guy, and never mind that France is on a collision course with a wall anyway, but the election of the socialist Francois Hollande, this guy is going to put his foot on the gas and send France right into a wall. There's no turning back now. Let's just say it for what it is. This type of European economic theory has completely failed. Can we say it? And guess what? The United States is starting to follow it. We are starting to look at some of those. Some of our folks in Washington think that the answer is to increase spending, things like that. Increase taxes. No. You want to solve the deficit and you want to inspire economic growth, you get $2 of spending cuts and $1 of tax cuts. You cannot imagine the economic growth that you would see in France, the U.S., or otherwise if somebody would finally figure out that basic math of economics. This is Knippa for NakedTrader.com on the floor of the Merc in Chicago.